You are reading today?
Hi, good morning, Dr. Savita. Jai Gurudev.
Good morning. Jai Gurudev, Dr. Mara. So you are there, you want to read?
I don't know. I tried. I got the book, but I don't know. I can.
Yeah, Jai Gurudev. I just put it on YouTube right now. So you can start the prayer, Dr. Savita. We have, I emailed the
I got the mail.
shlokas and it is the study group notes. It is not what Swami Chinmayananda does commentary. So we can do the shlokas today, and I can read from the book, and then we can do the study notes, right?
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Kaharta varta vignachi nurve purve.
Please unmute yourself and start, Dr. Savita.
Yes. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunattu Sahaviryam Karvavahe Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Narayanam namaskrityam navam chevam narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tadojayam udirayet. So I'll open the mail which is sent by Dr. Brahma. This is Sadhana Panchakam. There are no Sanskrit words, they are the transliteration basically. So it's in a summary form here. Okay. Vedo nityam adhityam tadautam.
Do you want me to read it? I'll chant it.
Yeah. It's like in English it's
difficult. Yeah, I know. In Sanskrit it's easier. I think there should be a Sanskrit version also, right?
Yes, Brahmaraji, Jai Gurudev. I will try to find out, because I had found, but then I saw that you had already shared, so I deleted.
So there is the English, the Sanskrit. Let me share this one. I think this has the Sanskrit version also.
Okay. There are
two. No. I think what I shared was only the English transliteration.
Yeah, only that is there.
Okay, till such time Belaji is able to share, I will chant from the text that I have. Dr. Mara, you mentioned you got it from Apple Books. Do you have it as a soft copy?
I don't have it soft copy. Actually, I put it in the group, but I bought it as an e-book from the Apple Books.
But I opened that link. It says no book available there.
Oh, really? You want the soft copy? I don't know how. So on the phone, I opened the iBook, but I don't know how to connect this to my stream it to my laptop, or how to open it, sharing the books.
Maybe you can check that technicality. Till such
Yeah.
time, we will get started on the chanting. Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
I got this. The second.
This is
You, yeah, I got it.
the
This is
in the
you
study
shared
notes.
to.
I think it is there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you have that one.
Introduction to Sadhana Panchakam. Sadhana Panchakam is composed by Adi Shankaracharya. Shankaracharya wrote commentaries on Gita, Upanishads, Brahma Sutras, and has written many texts, hymns expounding on the teachings of Vedanta. In Sadhana Panchakam, sadhana means practice, Panchakam set of 5 verses. Shankara provides 40 steps as a means or practice to achieve the end goal of moksha. In these 5 verses, Shankara unfolds the entire teaching of Vedanta. There are 5 verses in Sadhana Panchakam, each verse having 4 lines and 2 steps in each line, making it altogether 40 steps. Each step is like steps in a ladder, taking us progressively to attain the goal of moksha. This set of 5 verses provides the means for the end goal of moksha. So this is verse number 1. Vedo nityam dhiyatam taduditam karma swanushtyatam tenashasya vidhiyatam pachiti. If you can read Dr. Mara, this is the first, Dr. Brahmara, I think, or Dr. Mara.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
this
problem.
is the first one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you just enlarge the text a little bit? That will be
Okay,
better.
I'll just do. Yeah. Fine.
Yeah, this is fine. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Vedo nityamadhiyatam taduditam karma swanushtiyatam teneshasya vidhiyatam apachitihi kamye matistyajyatam पापौघः परिधूयतां भवसुखे दोषोऽनुसन्धीयताम् आत्मेच्छा व्यवसीयतां निजगृहात् तूर्णं विनिर्गम्यताम्.
Yeah, thank you. I will have to now squeeze it because it's not.
No problem. So, do you want me to read read Swami Chinmayananda's commentary first? It is a small text of about 27 pages.
So we'll
And then
do.
this what I shared here is there's a study group that has put down their notes after studying this. So I would suggest that maybe we read from Swami Chinmayananda's commentary first.
Okay.
And then we can do the notes.
Okay, so I'll stop sharing this thing. Yes.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not able to share this online.
We'll just listen to it. Yeah.
So the first one is study the Vedas daily. Perform diligently the duties, karmas ordained by them. Dedicate all those actions, karmas, as worship unto the Lord. Renounce all desires in the mind. Wash away the hordes of sins in the bosom. Recognize that the pleasures of sense objects, samsara, are riddled with pain. Seek the self with consistent endeavor. Escape from the bondage of home. In this opening verse, Shankara lists some 8 items to make up the spiritual program for a Vedantic student. First one is study the Vedas daily. To read and reflect upon the invigorating ideas of the Upanishads is to keep the student's bosom inspired at all moments. The seeker also has to live in this very same world of enchanting sense objects, amidst other members of the community who are constantly living in indulgence. To live among such people, amid such objects, which can and do actually give a temporary passing spurt of joy, and to deny them entirely and always is difficult unless the seeker's mind is constantly kept inspired by the larger vision of the higher essence of life. Scriptures alone are the exclusive literature that hold up the spiritual vision in a compelling language. Hence, the need for daily reading of the end portion of the Vedas, called the Upanishads. Second, perform diligently the duties ordained by them. A passive study or even intelligent reflections alone are not sufficient in this subjective science. These must be followed by a dynamic involvement of the seeker's personality with these ideas in his everyday life. The karmas, duties prescribed by the Upanishads, the way of life suggested by the rishis must be faithfully lived. A life of intelligent self-control at all levels is consistently insisted upon. A life of minimum mental and intellectual dissipation in the world of objects, emotions, thoughts must be pursued so that the mind's vitalities are always conserved very zealously. Third is dedicate all these karmas as your worship of the Lord. Third is dedicate all these karmas as your worship of the Lord. Dedication here is the surrender of ego and egocentric desires with a sense of God dedication. The idea of I and its selfish desires as I want are the factors in our inner personality that enhance the vasanas, deposits within us. Selfish actions bring about more and more mental hang-ups. To surrender ourselves and our selfish desires at His altar and to work in the world is a simple way of liquidating and flushing out the accumulated tendencies, vasanas, the shackling of our inner personality with our own mental hang-ups. Fourth is renounce all desires in the mind. So long as the mind is prodded with its endless desires, the thoughts in the mind storm forth to gush into the fields of sense gratifications. A mind that is thus rendered extrovert will not be available for deep study and for continuous reflections upon the scriptural ideas studied. Without deep reflections, the higher states of contemplation upon the nature of the reality will be ineffectual, and so the student, even after years of honest efforts, may yet find himself disappointingly not progressing on the spiritual path. 5 is wash away the hordes of sins in the bosom. An action is initiated in the present when our equipments, that is, the body, mind, intellect, meet the environment prescribed by the fields of experiences, that is the OET, objects, emotions, and thoughts. But no action can be considered as ended as soon as the physical contact has concluded. In time, the action exhausts itself in its results. This salient fact is generally overlooked by the superficial observers of life. As an end product of every selfish act, a tendency is left in our personality which prompts us to repeat similar acts. These tendencies, so accumulated from our past actions, are called vasanas or samskaras. These vasanas that create more and more mental agitations and drag our attention out into the ever-changing dance of the finite, that is the OET. OET is objects, emotions, and thoughts, are called sins. Through selfless, dedicated actions performed with an inner personality sincerely God centered, these vasanas can be exhausted, and thus our bosom can become washed clean of all our sins. Sixth is recognize that the pleasures of sense objects, that is samsara, are riddled with pain. Surely nobody can deny that there is pleasure in the sense objects. They certainly have satisfactory doses of joy in them. Only defect is that this joy spark is preceded and is immediately followed by a large amount of pain and sorrow, disgust and disappointment. To acquire the objects and to create the conducive atmosphere for their enjoyments is a long chain of endless strife and struggle, at once very exhausting and extremely fatiguing. Then comes the actual moment of pleasure, ever so fleeting. This is followed always by disgust, disappointments, sense of tiredness, and even regret. To recognize these is to realize that true and enduring joy is not in the sense indulgences. Once this false hope is removed, mind's expectations for joy and the consequent unburdened cascading of mind's attention into the outer world of tempting sense objects quietens and even ceases totally. It is the false notion that there is joy in the sense world that makes the mind erupt with its agitations and appetites. 7 is seek the self with consistent endeavor. When once the mind is thus tamed from its wild and thoughtless onrush into the sense field of objects and is effectively curbed, please don't allow the mind to remain quiet. Mind cannot remain for long in a state of suspended animation, in a stationary stagnation. The mind released from the outer world must be immediately re-employed in contemplating upon the nature of the self within, the spring of consciousness in us. 8 is escape from the bondage of home. Home is the safe shelter in which we remain and contact the world all around us. The equipments of matter, that is BMI, that is body, mind, intellect, constitute the home of the self now, from wherein we gather our experiences during our constant transactions with the world outside. That is the OET. OET again is objects, emotions, and thoughts. At this moment, in our identifications with our home, that is the BMI, we behave as though we are a helpless physical, mental, and intellectual personality. That is PFT, perceptions, feelings, and thoughts. A limited ego, Jiva, totally under the tyranny of our own body and its lusts, our mind and its passions, and our intellect and its restlessness. Adi Shankara cries out, escape from the bondage of this home once forever. End your ego sense, that is the PFT attitude, perceptions, feelings, and thoughts attitude, and come to awake into the ampler fields of the infinite consciousness, that is the God consciousness. So we can either do manana on the first shloka today, or we continue to read and then we'll go back to the study notes, and then we can do manana. But just summing up the first 8 in the first shloka. So first is study the Vedas daily. Second is perform diligently the duties ordained by them. Third is dedicate all these karmas as your worship of the Lord. Fourth is renounce all desires in the mind. 5 is wash away the hordes of sins in the bosom. 6 is recognize that the pleasures of sense object samsara are riddled with pain.
Can you repeat the 5th one again and how to do it?
Wash away the hordes of sins in the bosom. That is how you stop doing, how to get rid of your vasanas. So any action is initiated in the present when our equipments meet with the environment. But the action leaves its result, and that result is the tendency that develops as vasanas within. And these are what the vasanas or samskaras prompt us to repeat such similar acts. So these vasanas that create more and more mental agitations and drag our attention out into the ever-changing dance of the finite are called sins. So sin is what? Accumulating wrong vasanas through selfless dedicated action. So what is the way out of this? Through selfless dedicated actions performed with an inner personality which is sincerely God-centered, these vasanas can be exhausted. So when we offer all our actions unto Him, again it is boiling down to the attitude of being a karma yogi.
But remember when we said sins, how you say that sin is formed?
By continuing to do selfish activities centered on your small self. Like first of all, see, everything is actually linked. Each step is linked to the other. The previous one was renounce all desires in the mind. Right? So the more desires you have with respect to the outside world, that is going to prompt your actions, right? So all your actions are about satiating your body, mind, and intellect. Going outwardly.
Right.
So that brings in, it is not just an action. That action, every action produces a result, no? Every karma produces its impressions.
Right.
Which remain in the in our inner equipment as a tendency, as a vasana. That is a sin. Any impression that arises from a selfish action.
That repeats itself.
It repeats itself. So it remains in our personality, which prompts us to repeat similar acts. So as an end product of every selfish act, a tendency is left in our personality, which prompts us to repeat similar acts. These tendencies so accumulated from our past are called vasanas. These vasanas that create more and more mental agitations and drag our attention out into the ever-changing dance of the finite are called sins. So
Oh,
basically,
so
vasanas
the
equating
vasanas
to
create.
sins.
So the same, that the samskara, the impression that leads on to.
So how do we get out of this? Is by doing nishkama karma. Nishkama karma, and by dedicating all our actions unto him.
With the inner personality. Okay.
What I will do, I will see, maybe I will get this scan today at one of our Xerox centers, and I'll be able to then share the soft copy with everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be nice, because I am trying to, I thought it will open, but I have to sync my phone to the Mac. So I'm trying to figure it out. But
No problem.
yeah,
Take your
thank
time, find that out. But in the
Yeah.
meantime, I think we'll do this.
Yeah. Okay.
I know we'll need to follow Swami Chinmayananda has being a journalist in his.
Yeah, he has written it very
He's
well.
very
Yeah.
well. He uses a lot of punch words and a lot of very descriptive terms. So we
Right.
just need to pay attention. So the sixth one is recognize that the pleasures of sense objects samsara are riddled with pain. 7 is seek the self with consistent endeavor. And 8 is escape from the bondage of home. One reading is not sufficient because everything has so much of.
Yeah, it's actually
Yeah,
one.
every word is so valuable.
Yeah.
One this is 8 of them, right? Each verse tells you about 8 steps. One step itself we have to delve into it to really ingrain into us, like Tattva Bodh, what we did. This
Correct.
is like each one, has a lot of information, how he connects it with the body, mind, intellect, and with the outside world. I mean, very nicely actually. It's even reading first one itself would be nice. Then move on to the second one like that. Even one sloka would be.
Jai Gurudev, I think this is the roadmap, right, Brahmaraji, what
Yeah,
we
yeah.
have been looking for.
Correct. This is the roadmap. So, along with all the other shlokas, if we can also memorize this and keep it, this will also be our next target. Yeah. Sangasastu vidhiyatam bhagavato bhaktir dridhadhiyatam शान्त्यादिः परिचीयतां दृढतरं कर्मासु सन्त्यज्यतां सद्विद्वानुपसृप्यतां प्रतिदिनं तत्पादुकासेव्यतां ब्रह्मैकाक्षरमर्थतां श्रुतिशिरो वाक्यं समाकर्णतां Samakarnyatam. The second verse says, seek companionship with men of wisdom. Be established in firm devotion to the Lord. Cultivate the virtues such as Shanti and so on. Eschew all desire-ridden actions. Take shelter at a perfect master or guru. Every day serve his lotus feet. Worship Om, the immutable. Listen in depth the Upanishadic declarations. So, continuing the 40 different steps, the 9th step from the beginning of the second verse is seek companionship with men of wisdom. Generally, This is translated as we attach to Sangha, wise, Sat men. A mere physical nearness to or even an emotional attachment with great men is not sufficient for their wisdom to flow into us. A complete companionship is needed. We must study and learn to adore and admire the ideas and ideals preached and lived by the masters. This way, our inner personality grows in size and depth, in its subtle sensitivity and reach. Then alone, the wisdom in the wise masters can flow and fill our hearts. It is indeed a rare and unique chance, if we get at all, to meet a wise man, a man of spiritual perfection. Such men are rare, but we can have their constant companionship indirectly when we study the scriptural literature which they had left for posterity as rich and sacred heritage. The 10th one is be established in firm devotion to the Lord. Love, when turned towards the higher, is called devotion. In devotion, mind integrates and grows in its inherent powers. In love for the baser things, mind gets shattered and disintegrated. To turn our love towards the altar of the Lord is to turn the thoughts towards Him with effortless ease. For our thoughts always gravitate easily and readily towards our love. When devotion for the Lord gains in its depth and sincerity, more and more of our thoughts run steadily towards the Lord in our hearts. Our meditation becomes constant and continuous. We get ready to sacrifice easily everything that stands between us and our beloved Lord. To turn towards the one is devotion. To run after the many is love. 11 is cultivate virtues such as Shanti, etc. These are essentially techniques for controlling the mind running out through one's sense organs into the sense objects, that is Shanti, and for controlling the gush of sense stimuli from outer world into our mind through the sense organs, Danti. In each one of us, the senses are the doorways through which our mind runs out to roam among sense pleasures, and also the inlets through which the sense stimuli gush in, to raise storms of passion in our mind. When these two are controlled, the mind is not disturbed by the sense objects, nor the mind is made to heave by the influx of the tempting stimuli. Naturally, mind becomes extremely calm. When mind is calm, our intellect gathers a greater brilliancy, a sharper comprehension. Such a purified mind intellect is the inner instrument for longer contemplation and deeper meditation. 12 is avoid all desire ridden actions. Actions by themselves are harmless, but when they are desireless, they can flush out our personality of all our vasanas. When actions are performed with selfish desires, they tend to gather more and more tendencies, vasanas, and they in turn can initiate endless other actions, each riddled with a growing amount of desires, passions, appetites, and lust. The end result of all these is to cloud the potential divinity in an individual, his total cultural breakup, hurtling him down from the dignity of a man into the dark abysm of ugly pain generating levels of sheer animalism. Very, very descriptive, and he's being very strong about this.
I'm remembering that shloka, Trividham Narkasya Dwaram. That
Yes.
same is repeated.
Mm. The end result of all these is to cloud the potential divinity in an individual, his total cultural breakup, hurtling him down from the dignity of a man into the dark abysm of ugly, pain generating levels of sheer animalism. 13 is surrender to a perfect master. A perfect master is not merely an erudite scholar in the Upanishads, Shrotriya, but must also be well established in the experience divine, Brahmanishta. A mere book knowledge is not sufficient to communicate this subjective science to the seekers and to help them move out of their gloom and sorrows into the light of realization. Surrender to such a guru. Carefully note here that Adi Shankara has never asked us to seek a guru, which we cannot. In our present state of imperfection, even if we meet one, we may not be able to recognize him as such. Therefore, let us surrender ourselves to the way of life indicated in the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita. Let us truly surrender ourselves to the rishis of the Upanishads and the Lord of the divine song, the Gita. To attune our thoughts and actions to the declarations of the masters in the scriptures is the only true surrender unto the Guru. 14 is daily serve his sandals. Service of the Guru must be a continuous way of life, and this service is not a physical seva, but must be our dutiful service to his sandals, Paduka. The Guru stands on his Paduka. Serve that upon which the Guru stands, the platform he represents, the program of devotion he preaches. Let us day by day strive to live in constant and sincere contemplation of the one infinite self, which is everywhere, expressed as the life that is throbbing in every living organism. 15 is worship Om, the immutable. The Supreme Self, the timeless essence, the one infinite truth that expresses as this universe of names and forms, is indicated in the Vedas by the sound symbol Om. This is not a mere name. Om is not truth. Om indicates truth. Your name is not you. Your name indicates you. You are separate from your name. The national flag is not the nation. The idol indicates the ideal. Thus, Om indicates a state of consciousness other than our present ego state. And the students in Vedanta are advised to worship Om as a symbol of the self for their mental purification. By chanting, doing japa, and by devotedly adoring the Om symbol, our mind gathers its wandering rays from the jostling, oscillating world of things, beings, and happenings and becomes quiet, vigilant, and alert. Such an alert and vigilant but quiet mind is the instrument for steady and deep meditation. Therefore, Shankara insists that Vedantic students would do well if daily they would worship Om, the immutable. 16 is listen in depth the Upanishadic declarations.
The Upanishads contain the entire mystic knowledge of the Hindus, the subjective science of the self, the life. Here, the Upanishads directly from a teacher giving discourses upon them, and indirectly by our attentive study, and we can gain a superficial knowledge, a mere word meaning of the statements. But the rishis are trying to point out by these chosen sacred words a state in yourself which is to be explored and experienced by each one of us, all by ourselves. This discovery of our own spring of consciousness in ourselves can happen only when our minds ride upon the Upanishadic statements and we learn to glide into the timeless, the supreme state of consciousness divine. The cardinal declarations in the Upanishads are vehicles upon which mind can take off into the worlds of contemplation and learn to land safely upon the fields of the infinite.
Before Upanishad Vakyas, Mahavakyas, there was one said Omkar, means they said no, practice Omkar. What was that? Can you repeat that?
Worship Om.
Worship Om.
Yeah.
So the way how they explain how to worship Om?
By chanting, doing japa, and by devotedly adoring the Om symbol.
Om symbol.
Yeah. But here we need to be a little mindful here. Om japa is meant not for grahastha. It
Rasta.
is, yeah. So we should
And
be aware of
alone
that.
only Omkar is not worshipped.
Yeah.
Some
But just
attachment with that. Some means Om Namo Bhagavate, like that we have.
correct. Correct. And understanding the meaning of Om, that it indicates the truth. Like how your name indicates you, like how the national flag is not the nation, it represents. Similarly, Om represents the truth. It is the doorway, so to say. So we'll go on to the third. What I will do is we'll finish the 5 shlokas. We may not be able to complete all the 5 today. We'll need to leave 2 for tomorrow. I'll do the third one now. And after we finish this,
Dr. Brahmara, maybe I can try to print only few pages, but because in the new version, it's whatever you read is the same I have, but it's a little bit different in the wording. But I can print a few, like one sloka at a time or 5 pages, rather than printing everything. Maybe that way I can post it.
No, I have a hack also. I can actually take pictures, screenshots of the book on my phone and share it as a thing, but that will be individual. Let me see. I'll make it. We'll get this done.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
वाक्यार्थश्च विचार्यताम् श्रुतिशिरः पक्षः समाश्रीयताम् दुस् दुस् दुस्तर्कात् सविरम्यतां श्रुतिमतः तर्कोऽनुसन्धीयताम् ब्रह्मास्मीति विभाव्यताम् महरहर्गर्वः परित्यज्यताम् देहेऽहं मतिरुक्षयताम् बुधजनैः वादः परित्यज्यताम्. Reflect ever upon the meaning of the Upanishadic commandments and take refuge in the truth of Brahman. Avoid perverse arguments, but follow the discriminative rationale of the Shruti. Always be absorbed in the attitude, bhava, I am Brahman. Renounce pride. Give up the delusory misconception, I am the body. Give up totally the tendency to argue with wise men. The 17th one is constantly reflect upon the meaning of the Upanishadic commandments. We have 4 pithy statements which are considered by the rishis as the very commandments, and in their embrace they hold the entire spiritual wisdom of the Vedas. They are: 1. The definition of truth. Consciousness is Brahman. That is Prajnanam Brahma. These are the 4 Mahavakyas. Second one, the statement of advice, Upadesha, that thou art, Tattvamasi. The third is the statement of direct experience, Anubhava. This Atman is Brahman, I am Atma Brahma. And 4 is the roar of realization, I am Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi. All of them, in their togetherness, uplift a mind that is steadily contemplating upon this deeper and subtler implication. Consciousness is the one life spark that plays through all creatures, and this is the God, the Lord, the one substratum from which the universe has risen, in which the universe exists and plays, and into which alone ultimately all names and forms merge. This consciousness in you is your own true nature. This is the essential subject. All the rest are its objects perceived. It alone is the perceiving light of consciousness, the self. The meditator must come to experience for himself in moments of deep and total meditation that he is not the body mind intellect complex, but this self in me, Atman, is the one self everywhere, Brahman. After this depth awakening, the sense of individuality ends, and the realized seeker roars in the silence of his fulfillment, I am Brahman. Shankara prescribes that students of Vedanta should constantly reflect upon the untold significances of these 4 great commandments. 18 is take refuge in the truth of Brahman. As limited mortal individuals, we are now recognizing ourselves to be the body and the mind. As an ego, the individualized self, Jiva, pants to rediscover its own apparently lost peace and bliss by acquiring, possessing, embracing, and enjoying the world of sense objects outside. A true seeker should constantly take refuge, even if he has no direct experience, in the thought that I am not this body, and live in the silent attitude that I am the one self. Divorce the body mind intellect mistress and get wedded to the self within, which is the one self everywhere. 19 is avoid perverse arguments. Arguments can be extremely constructive and also completely destructive. Right arguments can throw more and more light upon the path to be pursued and the goal to be reached, and wrong arguments can bring in confusing banks of mists, blinding our path and veiling our goal. Avoid such unnecessary perverse arguments raised by people who have no faith in the Upanishads, no subtlety of perception to feel the unseen Lord playing all around us at all times. This needs sensitivity and an inner equipment reduced by its passions and lusts, will not have the necessary equipoise to detect the play of the ultimate reality. 20 is certainly follow the discriminative rationale of the Shruti. While avoiding the perverse logic and false arguments, it is not meant to say that we have no arguments and logical reasoning processes to prove the self within to our own intellectual satisfaction. Vedanta is a rational process, jnana, of intellection. We must learn to think and argue along the line of discussion indicated by the Upanishads. The sequence of arguments by which the rishis deny the 5 sheets, Panchakoshas, the reasons arrayed to examine the 3 states of consciousness, Avasthatraya, the logical thought processes elaborated in the Upanishads to show the one changeless self, the sole substratum for the universe of multiplicity and change. All these can immensely help a student of purified intellect to heave forward and wake to the dimensionless state of pure consciousness divine. 21 is be absorbed in the attitude I am Brahman. As we are, we live in the assumption that we are the limited ego jiva, tyrannized by our equipments, that is the body, mind, intellect, shamelessly struggling to eke out our happiness from the world outside. We have lived in this false notion for such a long time that any amount of study and reflection cannot end our tendency, vasana, to consider us as a helpless, hapless ego. The only antidote for this wrong attitude, samskara, is to unwind them by the nobler and self-recreative attitude that I am Brahman. As the timeless self, I am not the body, mind, intellect equipment, and so I have none of their imperfections or sorrows. Birth, death, health, ill health, the ashramas, the varnas, the species, the castes, color distinctions are all based upon and with reference to the body. Joy and sorrow experiences are determined by the mind, and as I am not the mind, they too are not mine at any time. The intellectual restlessness are not mine, as I am not the intellect. To keep the attitude that I am Brahman under all sets of circumstances is to bring an indomitable amount of equipoise and joy, balance and bliss into our inner life. 22 is renounced pride. Out of identification with the body and possessions come the exaggerated sense of self-importance, accompanied always by a demeaning irreverence to all others. These factors together create pride. It is essentially a false attitude of the ego when it is identified with the limited matter layers around it. To renounce this pride and its baser tendencies is to surrender to the self in one's own heart. 23 is give up the idea I am the body. I am the body attitude is natural as we had already lived thus through billions of years during our slow evolutionary progress from the lesser equipments as plants and then animals. In these lower states, the sole dharma was to maintain the attitude that I am the body, because nature had not yet completed her work of polishing and improving the physical structures and their functions. Now we have fully reached the noble anatomical structure and the perfect physiological functioning of the human form. Hereafter, self-preservation is not through the body. It becomes preservation of the beauty, grace, and glory of the self. The body of man is meant only for the service, upakara, of others, para. Paropakarartham idam shariram. Your body is not meant for you. It is an efficient tool to serve others. Our job now is to purify the mind-intellect equipment and transcend them so that we directly come to experience the supreme state of pure consciousness, the God state. Therefore, give up the empty false idea, I am the body. And 24 is give up arguments with the wise. We approach men of direct experience and men of scriptural knowledge for our own benefit. We are not obliging them. They are not gaining anything by teaching us the glory and nature of the self. It is not they who benefit when they patiently explain and encourage us to reach the self. It is entirely our gain. They are people who have already fulfilled their life. Out of mere compassion at our suffering, they stir about to instruct, inspire, and guide us. By our gross arguments, we should not try to block this flood of their love sweeping down to bathe us in joy and happiness. So this ends the third shloka of the Sadhana Panchakam. We'll look at the fourth and the fifth tomorrow, and then we'll actually have to reread all of this. We'll go to the notes then. Such a beautiful, we can never be, we are ever indebted to Adi Shankara for compiling such beautiful verses. From simple, I mean, he's such a great man of wisdom, enlightened master, who has catered to all levels of sadhaks, starting from simple shlokas like Bhajagovindam, which again is so deeply embedded, wisdom is so deeply embedded in each verse. Simple shlokas to complex commentaries on the Brahma Sutras, on the Prasthanatrayam, the Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads. How much of compassion he must have had. In all of his short life, 32 years. So very grateful. Yeah. And also grateful to the whole Sangha for keeping this alive. See, if not for the Sangha, if we were just alone, reading it by ourselves, doing our own, we would not have that. It is the group discipline that is taking it forward, isn't it?
And also Swami Chinmayananda also.
That's for sure, Otherwise, you'll be sitting in one page only. You can't understand most of it. Sometimes, it's interesting to read this one now that we have read so many Chinmayananda's book. Otherwise, this will be very tough to understand.
Yeah. In fact, even this, Maltiji, you were saying something? I
was saying, yes, Swami Chinmayananda also was just mentioned. His commentaries are so easy to understand.
Yeah.
Thanks to Dr. Brahmaraj for initiating this with Bhagavad Gita. We came to know so many things, no? I had never heard of this Sadhana Panchakam. Only yesterday I heard about it.
Right. No, it was Dr. Mara's suggestion that we do Sadhana Panchakam after we finish Tattva
You've
Bodh.
always been there, I asked you because we especially somebody kind of explains it even better, but then I don't know.
I asked Nana about it yesterday. He said he will take it up sometime. So let's do our study and then
we'll study in that.
We can
like how he did the Tattva Bodh, Atma Bodh, like even then we reviewed so many times. Now we are getting comfortable with it.
Correct.
I mean, with this one, we can read it. I mean, it's not that difficult, but then again, I felt like we are in all the time we have same questions, which one to do first or second,
Yeah.
Like one thing you mentioned, Dr. Pramana, yeah, as a Grahastha, you can't chant Om. Is that meaning what? Like
No,
we
no.
say
You can chant
21
Om
times.
attached to something else. You chanting Om 3 times, that is fine. Before
Okay.
starting anything, that's fine. But it
Mm-hmm.
is generally recommended and advised, and that's what even Gurudev has mentioned. Om, therefore, is not given as any mantra as a meditative mantra.
Oh, for
It
meditation.
is meant, it apparently causes a lot of dispassion. So it is meant for, not meant for the grahasthas. We are supposed to still complete our household duties and responsibilities. So it is meant, if I'm not mistaken, it's meant for the sannyasis, not for
Oh,
Om
really?
japa.
For children,
Just doing
they
japa on
can
Om.
just
But
do it for
attached to
3.
another name like Om Namah Shivaya is fine. Om Namo
Oh,
Bhagavate Vas. That is fine.
okay. Got it.
Such profound meaning of Guru Paduka Sevanam, the platform which he suggests, and doing seva on, and not the physical seva of Guru, but whatever directions and guidance he has given so far, we walk on that path and we continue spreading that happiness and joy which he has been always insisting. That is the Guru Paduka Pujanam. Such beautiful.
Yeah.
And here it is said, follow the Guru whose lineage is known. That is also great.
The very first thing itself, study Vedas and follow that.
Vedo Nitya Vadhiyatam.
Yeah, and
Nitya
follow that
Vadhiyatam.
regularly like that. So
There should
not
be a
just
rhythm
reading.
to this. Let me see whether we can get some rhythm. I'm
Yeah,
not.
it's really long words, So that's we have to find some kind of like Maya Panchakam. They have some
Correct.
video or something.
So we'll close here today. We'll end with a meditation. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Sarvam Shri Krishnarpanamastu.
Meditation is accepting this moment, living every moment totally with depth. Let us keep our spine erect and body relaxed and eyes closed. Relax your shoulders. Keep a big smile on your face. You're sitting like the statue of Buddha, very serene and with a serene smile on your face. Relax your body. Let's take a deep breath in and breathe out. Become aware of your chest region, throat and chest region. If you notice some tension in the body, just let it be. Except those parts of the body where you feel a tension, the other parts are in comfort. Other parts are at peace. Become aware of that also. There are many good things about you and inside of you. Acknowledge them. They will never leave you. And the negative aspect you may see in you is never going to stay with you forever. They are all guests for some time. Let them be. Sit with the total acceptance of yourself the way you are at this very moment. Total acceptance of what is now here. Lead us to deeper meditation. Let go of all the efforts. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let go of all your effort and be in this emptiness. And slowly and gradually become aware of body and surroundings. And you may gently open your eyes.